Welcome and thank you. My name is Nasos Kladakis. I am the product manager of Azure Active Directory in Microsoft. And together today, we're going to discuss about enterprise mobility and security, and especially how this can help you with conditional access to your resources. Although all these days in our booth, you have seen that we have really sophisticated products and services that help you identify the most sophisticated attacks, persistent attacks, and everything. I want to share you a few numbers, especially the first one, that shows that most of the bad things that can happen to you are not coming from sophisticated attacks. They are coming from weak credentials, from predictable credentials, and everything starts at the front door. People, although it seems really weird, can just come into your system with no control. And that effort they do seems innocent. So I would like today to spend some time, the next 20 minutes, showing you how you can keep the bad guys out. Because we in Microsoft believe in defense in depth, but defense in depth starts from the front door. So let's see what we can do to protect you at the front door, to help you keep the bad guys out. So what we do in enterprise mobility and security is that we add cloud power protection. We are using our knowledge for all the areas all over the world, from all the clouds we have out there, to protect you with a set of basic rules, but also advanced rules that will keep bad guys out. Now, how we do that? We have built a wall in front of anyone that wants to access your resources. So no matter from where this guy or girl will come to access your resources, he or she will find in front of them a wall that they have to go through in order to bypass it and access the resources. And this wall, it's called conditional access. Conditional access is a set of rules that you can apply to your identities, and if these rules are fulfilled, then the user can go in. If not, a set of different actions can happen. And this rule can apply to users, so you can treat differently, let's say, normal users from guest users, right? So partners or vendors can be treated differently than normal users. These rules can be applied on specific applications, because I assume some applications are more sensitive than others. They can be applied on devices, on locations, specific locations, but also, and most importantly, they will be applied based on risk. And I want to spend a few minutes on risk. I will show you all kinds of conditional access in my demo in 5 minutes, but I want to cover a little bit the risk factor, because I really believe that the risk factor, the ability to have conditional access based on risk, is something that here in Microsoft we are unique. How we calculate the risk, first of all. We have the ability to bring together data from all the clouds that Microsoft runs. So imagine, from Xbox and Skype to Hotmail and Office 365, Azure, and all other applications we protect. We can bring these signals together in one engine. This engine is called Identity Protection Engine. We gather data from all the global places that we have presence of Microsoft. That means almost everywhere. And we also work with academia and law enforcement agencies all over the world, so we can identify the bad guys out there. We have lists of bad IPs. We have lists of stolen credentials. We have a report, for example, that we can give to you, and it's called leaked credentials. I assume you understand what this means, right? We go out there, and when we see leaked credentials from this or the other source, we get them, and we compare them with your emails. And if we see that one of our customers is a part of this list, we feed our engine with that, and we show that to you. So this engine is fed from all kinds of signals that are coming from more than 300 billion authentications per month. Again, I say this makes us unique, because most probably all other vendors that are in this room cannot have that huge numbers of signals altogether. So these things are fed into the engine, And at the end of this process, we come with 3 risk vectors. The first risk calculation has to do with users. So no matter if the user is doing something or not, we have a risk score associated with him. So we know that a user that has his credentials stolen, I assume you agree, he needs to be in high risk. No matter if he's accessing resources or not, because his credentials are stolen, and that's proven, his risk is high. The second risk factor is a risk of sign-ins, of interactions with your system. So we calculate the risk for every action you take. If you sign in from a familiar location, that's cool. But if you are signing from a location we see for you the first time, we might elevate your risk to medium. If we see that you are accessing the same resource from 10 places at the same time, guess what? Your risk is high. And that goes on. I will show you an example of that. Now, all these risks that we calculate can be used to enable conditional access. And this is the unique thing I want you to remember after this session. You don't have to just have rules on specific devices or locations. You can add the risk factor, and based on risk, to decide who can go in or who needs to get out of your resources. Now, let's see the demo. I want to have your attention because I'm going to explain what you are going to see, so the demo will be meaningful. I will show you first the end user experience, because it's super critical if you want a solution like that to be successful, to not make the life of the user miserable, right? If I'm a normal user and you keep annoying me again and again and again with rules and MFA and 2-factor and reset your password and reset it again and let me call you, you drive your normal users crazy. And let me tell you, this is super important, because already we all know that your users don't like you, right? I mean, you agree on that, right? Your users don't like you at all. You are annoying to them. You are just in front of them and you don't let them do your work, their work. So let's don't annoy them even more. Let's allow normal users to go in normally. However, we need to protect the business. So let's see how I can stop annoying normal users and back them with conditional access when it's needed. So let's suppose now that I'm this user. This user is Aphrodite. He works for Condoso, and she wants to log into her systems. Let's assume that this is a random device. It's not domain joined. It's her personal device. It can be an Android device, an iPad. I'm using my Windows 10, but that's irrelevant for our demo. So let me use my password. And you will see that I am in. No annoying, no disturbance. So Aphrodite as a user is able to access her access panel, her My Apps, and she can see, hopefully in a while, all the applications that she has access to. So Aphrodite as a user, she can go in this portal or in any other portal and open, for example, her email. Let me open my email. No action here. Single sign-on, great. My email opens. I read my notes. Now, let's say that I have a super sensitive application. A super sensitive application that it's on premises. I want my users access this sensitive on-premises application, but because I'm feeling that I shouldn't expose it from everywhere, I have applied a location rule that says if you are not coming from a trusted IP, most probably I will block you. So Aphrodite is traveling with me here in San Francisco, and she's trying to access this sensitive application. Guess what? It's called sensitive application, right? That helps the demo. So Aphrodite is clicking the sensitive application, and remember, she has been already in. She can see other applications, her email, but look at this great message. It says, Aphrodite, we're really sorry. Your sign-in is good. I mean, don't be alerted. You got it right. It's just that you cannot get there from here. This is a location-based rule. And because the first thing that Aphrodite will think to do is call you, you can tell her to click more details and show to her that she's coming from an IP that we don't consider ours. So it's outside of the network, and for this sensitive application, Aphrodite, we have a conditional access rule. If you come back home, you will be able to access it as always. Good. Aphrodite says, okay, let me read some more emails. But then she says, it would be great if I could open my SharePoint, my OneDrive for Business. Good. So now Aphrodite is trying to open her SharePoint for Business. And as you will see here, because it's coming from a random device, you remember that? I told you that this device is random. This is a Microsoft device, Microsoft.com. It's not belong to Contoso. And Aphrodite is a Contoso employee. So the admin of Contoso again says, everything is normal, don't be afraid, but for this specific application, we want compliant devices. So either go from another device and use a device managed by Intune or any other system, or go and join this Windows 10 device to Azure Active Directory. So if you join this device to Azure Active Directory, you make it Azure Active Directory join or Cloud join, that means that this device is a trusted device from now on. And you will be able to access your OneDrive for Business. You see now already that I have shown you two different rules. Location-based for my sensitive on-premises application, and also device-based for my OneDrive for Business. I will show you now a third rule, which is based on application sensitivity. You can choose any application that is here or protected by Microsoft and Azure Active Directory and say that I don't care who you are, I don't care where are you coming from, I don't care about your device or your location, I just want to verify your identity with a second factor if you are coming in. So let's say for us, this application is Salesforce. I'm clicking Salesforce here, and you will see that although Aphrodite is accepted, they ask from here to provide a second proof of your identity. So hopefully, if I get reception in here, I will be able to receive a phone call that will require from me to take an action. Let's wait. This is most probably coming immediately, but there are other options too. I can receive a text message, an SMS. I can also have, we have an application that it's called Microsoft Authenticator, and this Microsoft Authenticator receives one-time passwords or it receives push notifications. In environments like that, sometimes one-time passwords are better because the reception of mobile phone is slow, super slow. I don't know what else to say until the phone call comes. Or the internet is slow. So in these cases, look at what you can do. Say, okay, the reception is really poor. I don't see a phone call coming here. So you can go to use a different verification option and say, I would like to use verification code from my mobile app. So now, I can go to my Microsoft Authenticator and say, okay, let's use a one-time password because this call is not helping me, internet is not great, and the reception of AT&T sucks for a reason. So I can go to my Microsoft Authenticator, and you will see that I have multiple accounts. Aphrodite's account says that I should use 62, 51, 63. And this is good for now. In 9, 8, 7, it's done. This code is useless. So if you get that code and try to log in, you will be blocked. So you see, I proved my identity with a second factor, phone call, or one-time password, or push notification, and I'm in. I want you, though, to remember something super critical. If I receive this phone call out of the blue in the middle of the night, or a push notification that I didn't ask for, Microsoft Authenticator and the conditional access rules give me an option that says, okay, Aphrodite, you didn't ask for that, but we are in trouble because someone has your password. Because in order to receive this phone call out of the blue, someone has your password. This is bad, but we can fix it. So the nice lady that talks to me says, press £0 and I will block your account. How cool is this? How powerful, like? So if you have MFA enabled and you receive an MFA request out of the blue, you can block your account from the phone call, from the application. Now, Remember, I show you a location rule. I show you a device rule. I show you sensitive application. How about to create some risk now? Let's create some risk and see how this system will react on risk. I remind you, I was able to see my emails from this device with no problem, Office 365. How I can create a risk? I will use a tool that we call Tor browser. It's a browser, right? Do you know what Tor browser is? It's an anonymizer, right? It's not a bad thing. I mean, I don't want to penalize Tor browser for being an anonymizer. It's a good thing. It helps people keep their IPs hidden, keep them be anonymous. I love that. However, it's proven that bad guys do the same thing. So most probably, if someone is coming to your systems through an anonymizer, the risk is that he might be a bad guy. So I'm using Tor just for this demo to create some risk. So what I will do here is that I will try to access again my email. Same device, you remember that, same user. So portal.office.com. I'm creating some risk because now my conditional access engine will identify that something is wrong. Bear with me because Tor browser now, it's not that fast. And you know why Tor browser is not fast? Because it's traveling, okay? Now has left San Francisco and is going to Germany and then hopefully to Greece and then UK and then back to New York because it tries to hide, right? It tries to hide my path. And look at that, we did it. Let's see the path just for the fun of it. So it went to France, okay, they skipped Greece, United Kingdom, Austria. I mean, how cool is this, right? Now, every normal system will think that I'm coming from Austria. But guess what? Conditional access knows that you are using an anonymizer. So let's see how it will react. My user, same user. Let's see what will happen when I try to sign in. Look at that. It recognized that something is wrong with Aphrodite. And although Aphrodite was allowed to see her email from a normal device and a normal IP, what I did now, I created some risk, right? With the anonymizer, I added some risk in my interaction. And although Aphrodite is a low-risk user, her action is medium risk. So I'm not blocking her, I'm saying, let's take some extra actions. For example, I might call you again, is it okay? And I might ask you to reset your password because I see that someone is coming in from an anonymizer. Now let me show you something else, that all these rules that I applied from this portal can also be applied inside Office 365. So if you click this great thing here that the Office people call the waffle, you will see that I can access all kinds of third-party apps. So Box, Dropbox, sensitive on-premises applications I showed you before, Oracle, all the applications are here. So all the conditional access rule I show you will also apply if you try to access these applications from here or anywhere else. Let's go to the management portal. These were the risk scores I was telling you. This is how I detected that when Aphrodite is using an anonymizer, I created a risk event for her. Her risk is medium. But I want to focus now to the conditional access console. So this is the Azure Management Portal, and specifically the Azure Active Directory Management Portal. We brought all the conditional access policies in one place. So no matter if that policy requires Intune or anything else, if it's protection at the front door, if it's protection of identities, you will be able to configure a rule here. Let's play with a rule. Let's say guests must MFA. So for example, if you are using B2B collaboration to invite users from other organizations, you can set rules just for them. So let's see how I was able to configure all the rules that you saw before. I can, of course, first identify which users will be affected. In this example, I only affect guest accounts. Guest accounts are specific. I know them. It's everyone that it's not coming from Condoso. Gmail accounts, Hotmail accounts, Microsoft.com, Dell.com. I mean, everyone that it's not member of Condoso. The second thing I can configure here is that I can say if this rule is for all applications or specific applications. And which applications we support here? Every cloud application, SaaS, and every on-premises web application. Actually, everything that is protected from Azure Active Directory, on-premises web applications of all kinds, custom applications, PaaS applications, SaaS applications on Azure, Amazon, Google, you can identify them here. The other thing is conditions. Which conditions you want to check? You can configure what kind of client you want to affect, browser or its clients or mobile clients. You can configure the location. Let's say I would like to allow only trusted IPs. So you have to configure trusted IPs, and this rule will apply on them. And also, I want to go to device platform and say, I only allow Android, or I only allow iOS, and I want to block Windows Phone. Of course, not many people will be affected. However, you can do whatever you want here. Do we have any Windows Phone people here? No, I don't think so. Now, let's see the risk I was telling you. On top of all the location, device, and application rule, you can say, if the risk is low, medium, high, do something. And let's see what is this thing that I can do. This is the cool thing. We can say that if all the conditions are fulfilled or not, I would like to either block someone that is matching the profile, or I will let him in. However, I will call him first. I will ask him for MFA first, or I will ask him to come from a compliant device. And of course, I can also require a domain join device. And the cool thing is that I can either require all of them to be fulfilled at the same time, or just one of them. So either if your device is joined to domain, or if it's compliant, or if I can call you, then you will be able to access your application. And this is this powerful engine that you can have multiple policies per application, different policies for different users, or one policy that can affect group of applications. This power was never before in your hands with risk, device-based, location-based, and application-based rules. And to close our presentation, I want first of all to remind you that what we saw today was protection at the front door, but we don't stop there. We definitely have more to show you for defense in depth. So, enterprise mobility and security and other solutions can protect you when you are in an application. With Windows 10 Defender Advanced Threat Protection, we can protect Windows 10 even better. With Intune, we protect devices. With cloud application security, we protect applications. So what I show you today is just the entry point, right? The protection at the front door. You can move to have more. We have more than 41,000 customers already using the advanced capabilities I show you. And if you want to know more, please visit Microsoft.com/identity, and you will learn everything. Now, if you want also to win a clock, you can go to these ladies over here, go through a survey, and they will give you a great clock. Okay, so thank you very much for being with me. Thank you.